How's it going, everyone? I'm Honan,
I'm Oliver.
and today we're going to be covering three kind of interesting news stories that have been happening in K pop. Main one being 50-50.
Yeah, do we want to start with 50-50?
I think we
Or
should, yes.
it's the most pressing story, right? Still developing.
Sorry for just blowing the microphone with the
Yeah.
laugh. Yes, it is the
um,
most interesting one, I would say.
yeah, so like when we talked about this last, it had just started breaking, right? That they had sued their own company for to suspend their contracts and that they had cited various things, and then there was some disagreement between the current CEO and former co-CEO, and it was all kind of a bit murky. And since then, there's been seemingly like updates every day from different statements, different pieces of evidence coming out. Dispatch got involved and started like revealing phone calls and things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The the three people being co-CEOs at the same time when I first started reading about the story was like already kind of a thing where you're like, okay, this could be interesting conundrum or whatever, where you have like, and one of them apparently labeled themselves that but wasn't or something was what I was reading
well,
too. There's like,
he still maintained that that was his position, even though he was supposedly left or something. Yeah,
yeah, interesting
yeah,
when someone's saying their job is that, and then other people at the company are like, not too sure about that one.
yeah. So I guess we should just try and outline the situation in as clear detail as possible,
Yeah.
right? So on the side of Attract, which is the company that 50-50 are under, they're led by the CEO John Hong Jun, and he sued a company called The Givers, which is led by the former CEO or co-CEO of Attract called An Song Il. And the two of them have clearly had some issues going back, or they were working together for a while, but there's some deterioration of interest or whatever. And the accusation was that through the givers, who had secretly purchased the rights to Cupid, of course, the mega hit that made 50-50 relevant, um, they then were then trying to stage a buyout or organize a buyout from the side of Warner, who initially denied having any knowledge of it, but it seems likely that they were indeed involved in that way because we've heard phone calls about it and seen messages about it.
Yeah.
Um, then the girls themselves sued Attract, saying they wanted to get out of the contract because there was no transparency regarding payment and improper treatment in terms of like respecting health care and things like that. They were upset about the one about Aran, one of the members, having her surgery disclosed publicly, um, and so on and so forth. The givers then sued Attract back. They countersued them after refuting everything. Um, and so that's kind of where we're at. But there's been this constant back and forth and an emerging thing. So Jong Hyun Jun secured an investment before 50-50 from Interpark, which is like a major company here. I'm trying to think of what the equivalent of it is because I use Interpark to buy tickets for things, and they're like they sell holidays, but they also sell concert tickets and all things like that. But they also have like a kind of Amazon like marketplace for all
It's
kinds of
like
things.
multiple purpose company kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're just a big sales company, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, so they invested something like eight billion won or something, which is a not small amount of money. That's like 7 mil or something, 7.5 mil USD. Um, and then it turned out that something like six of that I'm not getting the numbers exactly right, so I'll go off the top of my head, but something like 6 billion had been invested into the group and its production and everything, as you would expect. But there was like some discrepancy of like, where did that other money go? And then it turned out that through a different company that Jong Hyun Jun runs, he was he was using all of 50-50's profits to pay back that investment. But still, no one knew where that other money had gone. So that's, I think, lack of transparency is one of the key things that the girls themselves are suing about. Though, from what I understand, they are expected to get royalty payments because Kina is the credit on the song. They're expected to get royalty payments this month. So
Yeah.
there's that.
They made like a statement about that too. I think Attracted because it said like there's billions of won of royalties coming in or something like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's really just everything you read about it is just like this sucks because like 50/50 was like they're on the radio all the time here now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Cupid is just like clicking onto like 102.7 like Ryan Seacrest like pop station like
It's everywhere, yeah.
every day like here. And it's
Yeah,
a trip that is happening. Like some K-pop group is like blowing so massive on like US charts and stuff, and then they're just not performing or promoting anywhere because they
yeah.
can't. Because, like,
Yeah. It blew up in a pretty crazy way. um and so the original composers of the song, so there were these three Swedish students. Of course they are Swedish students, because like apparently all you do in Sweden is make K-pop songs.
yeah, you make hip hop songs in Sweden. That's like
So they sold the song for, I think it was like 6,000 USD or something.
that is dog shit numbers
Well,
when you consider how much.
No, but I mean,
it's
obviously,
like...
it was pre-blowout. They just made the song and were like, "Who wants to buy it?" And some little company comes in.
No,
and
I
like,
understand.
Yeah, sure.
Just like
So now they're probably like. I mean, I imagine they would still get royalties, right? Like in a normal situation, they would still get royalties.
I would hope so because that is
because
insane.
Selling the song is not the same as selling the rights to the song,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So,
yes. I thought you meant like for a second that they just completely sold like their rights to the music of it.
But then that's what they said. That's what the Givers bought, right? They thought
they said he was buying to have like ownership of the song itself. Like
yeah, so I think he did end up. So after Attract bought the song originally,
behind their back, he bought.
Then the Givers went and bought the neighboring rights to it. Right?
Yeah. I wonder what that number was because it should have been a big one.
But those Swedish. So apparently, Dispatch has even come in and asked the Swedish students for interviews and whatever to say like what exactly they talked about, who said what to them, and who paid what, and everything like that. They're probably the fact that they're students makes it so much funnier because it's like. Welcome, they've started studying music and then they get this introduction to like the world of pop music, like just this like shady
Dispatch
industry.
interviewing them like, hey, so the company you sold that song to is being sued by the group that
they're suing each other. There's a three-way suing going on. Yeah. But either way, so the Givers came in and wanted to buy the rights to it, or the neighboring rights to it, and they had like something like 99.5% of it or something, and then the other 0.5% is Kina herself.
Yeah.
Or maybe some of it goes to Ahin, who is a lyricist on it, but
which Kina had to be notified, right?
You would think.
I think legally like had to have been with the whole process.
So that was what one of the things that Attract said. That Hongjun said was that there was no discourse in that regard, and he said that he has really poor like personal, like he can't talk to the girls individually, whereas Xian is like more comfortable and like knows their families and stuff, and so he goes to their homes and talks to them like that. And whereas Hongjun feels like he can't do that. He said in some statement he was like, yeah, whenever I go to the practice room, it's like a really stiff environment and I can't talk to them or something. And it's like, okay, but is that an excuse for just a complete communication breakdown?
Yeah, but it's also like, I don't know that you should be, as the CEO of a K-pop company, describing yourself not being good at your
and he said in the past as well that he said that he was a prickly person. He would get his anger would rise easily, and he would often shout like, practice singing, lose weight, and other such things. And it was real that he was the CEO or the manager of Hotshot, in a different company. Hotshot were a boy group, one of the members of whom debuted in 101, and they ended up just disbanding and turning into nothing, and were pretty badly treated. I won't go into too much detail about that, but if you think that's his past credit, not great.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like people, because the girls have a bit of a like backstabbing identity thing going on where people are saying that about them because this CEO saying he sold like his car and all this other stuff to fund things and like
that's like very media play because he sold his car, he got his mom's savings in. But then he got a freaking $8 billion investment
from another company. Yeah.
How much money are you bringing as a percentage of that, bro?
Yeah, $7 million is like plenty when we're talking about the promotion that 50/50 was doing and stuff. Like it's kind of wild to be like, I was living on the streets to fund this or something.
Yeah, and he was getting criticized. It's kind of weird balance where he's getting criticized for giving them like a nice dorm, like he got them a dorm in Gangnam, like, and it looks like a nice enough place. Whereas we've seen horrible dorms in the past or whatever, but it's like, well, in that situation he can't win. He's getting given shit for having a high rent dorm, but he'd be getting given shit if it was an unlivable dorm as well.
I actually think that's kind of a good thing, even if a group's brand new. Good living conditions is rather an environment.
Who'd have thought? Like that's a valuable thing.
Yeah.
So it's tough because obviously like the story is still developing. There's going to be more news that comes out and things that make one or the other side look worse. And there's like a lot of accusations of media play going around, especially from you're about to die from the track side.
I don't know what just happened.
Because it turned out that like one reporter wrote like 10 articles about Hongjun, like promoting him, saying how he was doing great and like was a good guy or whatever. It's like, what, like, is this one guy just really motivated, or is someone like slipping some money for him to publicize that kind of thing? You know?
Yeah.
There was even a story about how he apparently back years ago, like in the first gen, there was a group called Sharp, where it turned out there was an inter-member bullying scandal. Like one of the girls was getting ganged up on by the others or something, and they made this whole article about how Hongjun, who was a manager at the time, was like one of the ones who like stood up for her and like helped defend her or whatever. But that wasn't even true. Like it wasn't him; it was a different guy, and he was just falsely credited with it like 20 years later.
So this guy potentially just throws a bunch of like false stories into the media all the time and stuff.
Yeah, it definitely appears to be doing some kinds of shady shit. And he and then Xi'an posted. Xi'an is An Sung-il, right? He posted this Instagram post with a picture of like John Wick, like Keanu Reeves as John Wick, like loading a gun or whatever, and he was just like, "There will be consequences," or something like that. And it reminded me of the. Do you remember when Papa John did that?
I've eaten like 100 pizzas in the last month or whatever.
And he was like, the day of reckoning will come or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, it reminds me of that. Like these two like middle-aged guys just beefing at each other over a girl group song.
It's so the main thing is like, I guess eventually, no matter what, there was going to be some conflict with these people involved with the company. But it's like the timing of it is the worst. Over the top. Oh, like it couldn't have had worse timing for everyone.
And it explained why they hadn't gone through with the promotions and stuff that they had planned, because you could have imagined them appearing on like shows in the US and doing all kinds of.
Oh yeah, they've been on Good Morning America, like everything all the time, because that Cupid song is everywhere right now. So
So, and it's like guaranteed to be in the like end of year Billboard 100 or something. It's going to be the first girl group song, K-pop girl group song to do that.
With promotion and everything, they'd probably be invited to the freaking Grammys and everything by like the.
Yeah.
And like it's just now it's like one of those things. It's like, are they even going to be a group in like?
Their genuine like survival is in doubt, and they've lost a lot already from it. Like a lot of brand deals got cancelled. They didn't get to do the music video that they were going to do for the Barbie movie that they're on the soundtrack for. There's like a whole bunch of just endorsements and things that they haven't been able to go through with because of this. And the thing is, it's really interesting looking at the difference in reaction from international fans to Korean fans, because international fans almost universally are behind the members of the group themselves and are very critical of a tract. And I think kind of lean towards favoring the Xi'an side of things, but still a lot of criticism towards him as well. Whereas Korean fans are very much on the side of Hongjun. at least for now. Maybe if more evidence comes out against him, they might change. But they're very much against they don't like what the girls have done. They don't like the girls filing their injunction. They think that the CEO is one to be pitied and that he did so much for them and they should have been grateful to him and so on. And I think from someone I was like, okay, Cuba's an okay song, but like, Loving Me is superior, and like, I wasn't crazy invested in the group in general. The way I see it is like there's some merit to that. I think the idea of like the fact that I think they almost definitely got some love call from Warner or whoever, and Xi'an was like, hey, it would be a good idea if you guys flip out and like, get your contract cancelled so we can go ahead with this transfer or whatever. Because the way it sounds from what stuff that came out today, Warner or Hong Jun knew about the thing from Warner back in December when he was looking for more investment. Xi'an contacted him and said, hey, like, we can get investment from Warner, but he phrased it like they can straight up acquire you, just buy you. And he seemed to agree, but then that was the partnership that got signed and not the acquisition. So it seems that they changed the terms. And then later on, Hongjin refused the offer of a buyout later after initially agreeing to the partnership, which is not unreasonable. So I think Xi'an was looking for an excuse to get the girls out without having to have him block it, and that's what I think anyway.
On all ends, it just doesn't make sense, the timing, to me. Like how long are the girls' contracts, you think? Like, you see
7
how
years.
well oh fuck, never mind. That's a long time.
Yeah.
But you see how well things are going. Like, ride that hype trade while it's happening, and then maybe if that kind of dies down a little bit, then you go down this route or something. But everything was going so smooth, you think you'd just be like,
yes and no
right now.
So part of what they've said is that Attract were very much not on top of things.
Okay.
And like payments that were supposed to be coming through were not coming through on time, so the givers were having to front money in order to cover some of the production costs and things like that.
I guess just on the surface it seemed like things were going good, because they were like getting the Barbie soundtrack, and they were like keeping it on the radio everywhere and stuff. You're like, oh, this small company's doing a really good job.
And also it even seemed like with the Aaron thing, it was like, oh, the company's like doing a good job keeping us updated, letting us know what's going on. Like, they would always make statements about things. It was like, okay, like they're on top of things. But yeah, obviously there's stuff behind the scenes. So I think obviously some of the complaints that the girls have about Attract were justified. I think a lot of them are the usual kinds of things, like the transparency of income and stuff like that. That's, to be expected. I don't think they were being greedy, but I think they were certainly, if not manipulated, heavily influenced by Xi'an, who I think he is motivated by greed. Like, he himself, he might care for the girls as well, but he sees them as a means to make money, and he's a lot more business savvy by the by the way that this is being presented. So obviously I feel bad for the girls, and like at their ages, at their stage in their career, like they're gonna listen to someone who's close with their families and stuff like that, right? Like, all of their families are like, oh, you should listen to this guy, he knows what's up. Like, if he's telling you to find a way to get out of your company, you should do it. Even if the complaints are real and justified, like maybe they wouldn't have filed an injunction just right away because of that if it wasn't for...
Yeah, because Jung-hoon even made a statement like that. That's his name, right?
Hongjin.
Hongjin, my bad. I'm thinking of the someone else from, what is it, Knowing Brothers or whatever?
Oh, yeah. Think of
Jang-hoon, yeah. He even made a statement like saying, I feel like the girls have been like manipulated. I understand how that could happen, like, because they're really close and personal with this person. Yeah. And then he just wants them to like come back to the company. But I feel like now it's too awkward.
It's too late.
Now it's like now I feel like it's gone past the line,
It's like, well, you messed up, bro. But at the same time, like, I hope they don't go to Warner and give Shion what he wants, you
Yeah.
know. But most of the money that Cupid makes is going to him. So
I just don't even know where this falls. Called like
yeah,
what
it's
is
a tough one.
the
It's a very it's a really unique situation because like a lot of the time, I guess that's probably what made the Luna situation so interesting is because like they were a very popular group, right? Like, but for a group to have this happen at this early on in their career and at a point where they've had like one of the most successful songs of all time already, which is crazy, like it makes it a really like interesting thing. Like, because often it's like, oh, this like 6 year contract, like into their contract group who haven't had the most success, like they're having issues. It's like, okay, that we see that coming, you know, that makes sense. But this one is like, whoa, okay, there's levels to this that make it interesting to think
I'm
about.
hoping I guess the best result is like Hongjin letting it go and just letting the group go because I feel like if he does try to retain it and spitefully gets
Yeah,
mad about it or
he can't like
anything.
enslave them and pin
Yeah,
them.
but you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because
it's
if
not
it's
gonna
already
work.
past that point, they filed an injunction against Attract and stuff. I feel like it's gone past the point of like
Yeah.
return there. You know, like
And the thing for him that obviously is very scary is that he still owes Interpark a whole lot of money.
oh yeah, $7 million.
Yeah. So if he loses 50-50 entirely, he doesn't have anyone else really. So
I guess if he sold them to like sold not sold them like that's like but like sold the rights
basically,
basically kind of yeah
yeah.
to Warner Korea for like that more than that amount or something
Yeah,
then
but
he's
but
comfortably
now
paid that off.
because the givers already have all the neighboring rights and everything, it's like how much would they really even need? Like the best he could hope for is that the girls injunction is rejected by the court, so they're still under contract, and then he sells the contract. Like that's the best he could hope for, I think, at this stage.
Which the
Which is obviously
contract
not an
would be
ideal situation.
worth a decent amount of money I feel like because you need them to promote Cupid and everything
Yeah,
else that's
yeah,
like you kind of need them to do that so
yeah.
yeah, they just give the exact amount, like 7 million.
Yeah, that might be the best outcome, but yeah, it's rough, and it's like my instinct is to also feel bad for Hongjin, but at the same time, knowing like what happened with Hotshot and stuff, and kind of him being a bit, just he seems like some of the stuff that's presented. It seems like he seems so inept, like so bumbling. It's like, is he just being like Boris Johnson and pretending to be dumb,
Yeah, well, it's like interesting.
or is
You
he just
might
dumb?
have the wrong job
Maybe, yeah,
if you're doing
yeah.
this bad at it or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
But
it's
he keeps getting positions like this, but yeah.
yeah.
So I guess we'll see what happens. Obviously, this won't be the end of this story. Obviously, I just hope ultimately I hope the best for the girls, but it's definitely going to be hard, I think, for them to. Obviously, that they're massively popular internationally, so if they can really capitalize on that, then they'll be fine. But the reputation in Korea has taken a big hit because there's a real strong concept of like company loyalty here. Like even if your CEO is a scumbag, you're supposed to just be loyal to your company, and it's you're considered the phrase is like you're a pigeon that's flown the nest if you leave the company when things are bad and look for better things just for yourself. It's like considered selfish or greedy or whatever.
But I guess technically things were going great and they're leaving the company.
Well,
Like,
yeah, so that
like,
makes it even worse.
yeah,
That
yeah.
makes it seem even worse, right? Because like my CEO is very shady. He's like he's embezzled like a lot of money from us, and like one of my Korean coworkers who left like, after his contract expired, he joined like through basically a personal connection to the CEO who like personally wanted him to get this job, and then got screwed over repeatedly by the company. Like they changed his contract details, they changed what his job description was, they changed everything and he was getting abused by the managers and stuff. Like the poor guy was like going through it, but he refused to say even a single bad word about the CEO.
It's insane.
Like even a single word, just even though he was like not doing anything to help him. and was like just signing off on all of this stuff that was screwing him. He was like, nah, like he gave me the job, I'm loyal to him, like no matter what. It's a very strong thing here. So you often see Koreans refer to people who left a company or left a group as pigeons. Like they always refer to the boys who went from EXO who filed their lawsuits and left SM as pigeons. So
It's a trip because yeah, I mean,
it's
usually,
difficult for us to understand because for us in the West, we're just like, well, this job sucks. I'm gonna
yeah,
go find another one.
and usually everyone like
You know?
collectively is like
I was
the
like,
boss
yeah.
is a dick, and like
Yeah.
wants like it's yeah, it's interesting.
So
Mindset.
it's difficult to fully understand like when you don't understand the
Yeah,
context
corporate
of
loyalty
specific
is like a confusing
It's
concept.
a weird concept,
Because
yeah.
it's like they're not loyal to you. So
yeah,
it's like
exactly. You're just a tool of money, and that's I think yeah. Well, I
That's
think I've
why
said
I
everything.
always in these kind of things with artists first company thing, I always fall kind of on the artist side because it's
Yeah,
like I have a hard time trusting any music
any suit.
label as being like a
Yeah,
benevolent place or something, you know.
yeah.
Like it's usually there's some pretty
They're,
shady stuff going
they're
on.
not the nicest bunch
Yeah.
usually.
Well, we'll see what happens with 50/50. I hope for the best. I hope that I hope at least they get to promote and stay a group for the future, but we'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Moving on, then.
So moving to a story that is finished, pretty much, is the the non-existent beef between Yena and Olivia Rodrigo,
Yeah.
which does also seem like something that that the suits kind of took control over, at least from Olivia's side. So I think we talked about. Did we talk about it? I don't remember because it hadn't come out. I think.
I don't think we covered it at all.
Did we not cover it at all?
The
Okay.
hate Rodrigo
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So Yena released as the title track for her latest. I think it's a single album. The song called "Hate Rodrigo," which is an homage to Olivia Rodrigo and features many scenes like parodying or like reenacting some of Olivia's music videos, a lot of references to her in the song, and is not at all saying that she hates her, but instead saying like,
Envy.
I aspire to be you, I hate you, I wish I was you, I wish I was like you, that kind of vibe. And I thought the title and stuff obviously raise some eyebrows for people who aren't going to spend the time to read the press release or whatever. But I thought it was executed quite well, and she got the point across. I mean, also it's Yena, like she's not going to suddenly come out on smoke against Olivia, right? But someone took issue with it, so she was getting a lot of flack for it. But she just kind of kept going on, plowing ahead with it, and then suddenly, without warning, the music video got taken down and went private. So people thought, oh, something's happened behind the scenes. Then a day later or so, it came back up again, but the
picture was covered, right? Or
any pictures of her were blurred up, and then they said that they had received like a copyright infraction from Olivia's team. And that's kind of been the end of it. Yena's carried on. Right, she did cancel a day or two of promotions, which obviously isn't great. But she's just kind of carried on, and that's that. And I don't think, as far as I'm aware, I don't think Olivia's said anything about it. Maybe she's been told not to say anything about it.
I actually liked her B-side kind of music video and
that
song
one was great.
more, like Love War or something, right? Or not Love War. What was it
That's
called?
the old one.
That's the previous old one,
It's
but the
like
one where she's like doing like the Ghost in the Shell hovering in the beginning,
It's like Wicked Love or
Wicked
something.
Love or something like that. Yeah, but that
Wicked
that
Love, yeah.
song and video to me were like one of her more
Yeah.
interesting, like really dark concept ones.
Yeah, it's way better. But yeah, it's just a shitty situation because obviously Yena is an artist who has a very strong like personal flair to her music, I guess. Like it's very clearly her, and for her to get kind of shut down on something that she obviously wanted to do
I
in
wonder
such a
how
way, it really
Oogie
sucks.
feels about like all of this in it.
Yeah,
Featuring in
Oogie
this song,
featured
and it
on
just
it.
becomes like a massive like scandal or something,
She's
Like,
probably just like, well, I didn't cause it.
yeah,
I will take my bag and I will be on my way.
yeah.
um, but yes, it just sucks for Yen, obviously, because it's being a soloist and stuff and putting a personal spin on everything and doing what she wants to do, and then it coming this reaction, obviously, it sucks. And I mean, she's now getting called national embarrassment a lot in the press and by fans and stuff, um, because over here it's like the portraying Korea in a positive way is extremely important.
Yeah.
And it being perceived as like a small, in terms of international impact, Korean artist going after a massive global star like Olivia Rodrigo is, um, it doesn't come off well. It looks bad on Korea and the Korean music industry as a whole, which I think is overselling it because I don't think the majority of Olivia's fans cared or even knew about it.
No, and I always
Um,
think it's so dumb when someone just sees a plain title like that and takes it for
yeah, well,
exactly how
that's
it
what this
reads.
is. Yeah.
Like, it's
Um, and there's been a lot of criticism directed towards Yena's company, Yueha, as well, which obviously, because they're a Chinese company, that is additional fuel to the fire of being like, oh, this is Chinese conspiracy to make Koreans look bad, like, so all this kind of stuff. But so ultimately, the impact on Yena has been quite significant, which really sucks, because even though we could love, like you said, it's a great song, but the majority of her songs aren't really my vibe. But I do really like her as a person, and I want her to to succeed. So, yeah, that's kind of it. But it sucks, and I really hope that at some point in the future, maybe Olivia can address it, and I envision them meeting at some point years from now, and it all kind of being wrapped up nicely.
Olivia Rodrigo covers "Hate Rodrigo."
That'd be pretty lit, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But like, she gets that's a feature on one of her songs. Like, there you go, done.
Yena's such a nice person. It's really unfortunate to see like so much hate for such a nonsensical reason be thrown around or whatever. Like, stop taking song titles so literally or whatever. Especially when she did like an interview where she described the meaning of the title or whatever. Granted, in K-pop, maybe don't like. There's certain genres I feel like you can get away with way more kind of edginess, and K-pop's not that genre. I feel like where you can get away with edgy titles or anything like that.
Yeah, then that. Yeah, I mean, 17 having "Fuck My Life" was already like raising eyebrows. Like, yeah, I think it was in hindsight, like maybe the title of the song should have been a bit different, or like, could just put like "Hate XX," or maybe just censoring the word "hate" or something. Maybe that would have been a better choice. Like, I don't know. Either way, it just was an unfortunate situation. Not really much else to say about it, but it's worth covering. And I guess we can also talk about unfair criticism in the form of the now criminally charged Hwasa, as she, after performing at a university festival, had
charged for throwing it back on stage. Is that
she was charged with public indecency, I believe was the charge. So what she does, she's done this a few times, is that she licks her finger and then rubs it along her. It's definitely a suggestive thing, like, if not outright explicit. But it was a university festival which you have to be a university student in order to attend, and a mother's union were the ones who filed, and not just like a complaint to her new company, P Nation, incidentally, which is like the coolest shit ever. Like, Psy, in the middle of his massive concert, has her come up and sign the contract on stage.
Oh yeah, I saw that video.
But yeah, it's like it's like P Nation within a week had to deny her, or like say, or not get involved in her dating rumors with some guy 12 years older than her, and also then have to deal with her being reported to the police. But I imagine the police are going to go, fuck off. Like,
no one's a minor there either.
Yeah, no one's a minor. She didn't get naked or do anything like that. It's like, But I know that a lot of, well, not a lot of, but at least a good chunk of people here are saying like, yeah, her performance was over the top, but
It's
this is
not
also
illegal.
way over the top. Yeah.
It's-
So yeah, just a very silly, silly thing. But it's kind of funny to think that Hwasa is going to have to face criminal charges for being too hot on stage.
if anything, it's like a compliment. Oh, I'm that like.
Yeah,
know?
I'm that bitch, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, so yeah, a bit of a weird one, but what
It's
we had to
funny,
watch.
like I don't feel like Hwas has gone like further than some idols I've seen, like Yuna or like. I guess they just like decided, oh, Hwas is like the one to target or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's all stupid.
It,
Like it's
yeah, it's hard to see.
it's like a mothers organization or something, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
mothers
yeah,
against
yeah.
something, whatever. Nothing
Mothers
that's
against
called
women.
like mothers against something ever seems to have like a good outcome to
Yeah,
what they're about.
and there's no way for us to view through their eyes with any
Yeah,
and
it's
expect
like-
any logic. Like, yeah, it's not happening. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for like the major topic. I guess we can talk about the hype thing as well. So
yeah.
they
I just want to. I want to make sure I understand this.
yeah.
They like checked underwear, right, or something crazy like that.
Yes. So the well, I'll explain what the process is at fan signs, right? So when you go up to have your turn talking to the members of the fan sign, at least this is the way it works in Korea, they usually search you, or they at least make you like pull your sleeves up to show that you're not wearing like a smartwatch or something like that that can record, because you're not allowed to record your interaction with the idol. You're allowed to have a camera set up back in your seat and film. That apparently is fine. But you're not allowed to like voice record yourself as you're up there. So they want to make sure that you don't have anything with or you have to leave your phone in your seat and everything like that. Which is fair enough. Like, okay, they don't want people recording. I personally, I don't see the point anyway. I would never record my conversations that like that. It doesn't make any sense.
I wouldn't care to really see other people's conversations with it.
Yeah,
either.
yeah, like okay. Which actually reminds me, this is a quick aside. One of the members of the boys was recently under fire because he was on a vid call with a girl and she was like, "Oppa, do aegyo," and he was like, "No."
Fair enough.
She was like, "Do this in aegyo," and he was like, "I don't have any aegyo," and he just sat there and then the call just ended. It was amazing. Anyway, so yeah, so you go up there and offer, yeah, you have to roll your sleeves up. I think once or twice they've like patted here to make sure I don't have anything. But generally, like, it's just been very like low key. But apparently,
just like take your pants off right now. I need to check your fucking like.
So like, if I really wanted to, I could have a smartwatch in my crotch and like it would get through. But apparently, so at Anteam is Hive's like Japanese boy group. Like think kind of like their Niziyu, if you will. With one of the members is Fuma, who is in the Taemin covers that Haru did. He used to be under Nature's cover.
Found a way to connect it to nature. There we go.
Connected. So they're doing some fan sign, and the staff are apparently very, very thorough, to the point that they would straight up say like, "I'm gonna touch your breasts now." At least they warned them in advance, and then fully just like stuck their hands in and stuff. And if they felt, the one girl reported this, and she said that they felt something under her bra or whatever, so they made her like take a step to like off to the side and made her fully like lift her shirt and expose herself to make sure that there was nothing there. And she said that as she was doing that, some door opened and some guy walks in and sees her standing there topless. So she obviously felt really ashamed, blah blah blah. But generally speaking, obviously, this is way over the top. Not to mention straight up illegal, because
all just to not film a fan sign, like what?
Yeah, your average staff or bodyguards don't have the right to strip search or search that thoroughly. Like I think like a frisk is all they can legally do. So it's way over the top.
They're basically like airport security for a freaking fan sign.
Yeah, or like, even more thorough than that.
Worse. Like,
yeah. So Hype said like, "Oh, you know, we know." They didn't deny it. They were like, "Yeah, we know. We told them to do this." But and we said like we know that it's women, it's not men groping girls or anything like that. It's all they're all women guards or whatever. But we understand that they've gone too far and that this is, you know, she could press charges in this situation, but I think she's choosing not to. And so we're going to find a different way to do it. And everyone's like, yeah, bro, like just use a metal detector. Like if it's that deep, like just one of those. Okay, there's some metal here. Like,
honestly, if someone's gonna sneak away in to film that in their
they'll
underwear,
find a way anyway. Yeah,
it's like they probably don't have a boundary that is like uncrossable for getting and filming.
So yeah, it's really dumb. And I feel bad for the girl. I hope she isn't.
Does that mean it happened? If like they're like it happened one time and they're like, all right, we need to stop this racket of people bringing in recording devices in there.
I imagine every time they see a recording pop up, they're like, well, that's not on. Like we need to.
I just don't understand why they care so much.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not like there's like a huge. I've never been on YouTube. I'm like, oh hell yeah, like the fan side video or something.
Well,
you know, like
I guess because I think it's not just the video of the because videos and stuff are allowed. It's the so angry about it.
I'm pissed.
It's they don't want a private conversation getting out. They don't want the idol when the idol is talking one-to-one and a manager isn't necessarily able to hear everything they're saying. What if they say something questionable or that they haven't vetted and then it gets leaked and it causes a scandal? I think that's the reasoning. But like, I mean, so I've talked to idols and they said some mad shit. Yeah. Like the things that the signature girls have said, forget about it. but I'm not going to go around and sharing it apart from, you know, privately.
Yeah.
But I don't have recordings, you know, and I don't have recordings. Don't ban me, please.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It is what it is. It's yeah, but hopefully no more groping. Thank you, Hype, if that's okay.
From such a big company too.
Hype's
like what a.
They're calling. They're calling us.
Oh, I'm screwed, dude. I messed. I didn't tell you, but we have a contract with Hype on the podcast.
Yeah. I'm a rebel. I guess because they're so big,
who's
they feel
Hype's
so
CEO?
powerful, right?
I've seen that guy. He's like that kind of.
Banksy here.
Yeah. I've seen
he
him
might not
before
be
doing
CEO,
interviews when the stuff was going on where he's trying to acquire SM and stuff.
Yeah.
And he seems like the kind of person who would like smile at you while he's like firing you or something. You know? He's got that kind of like that vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that's pretty much that. I don't think there's any other massive stories that came out. Really, we had the MetLife Stadium accidentally liking a Blink tweet hating on Twice.
So Twice had like the massive show at SoFi, the LA like stadium for the Rams.
Twice's stadium pictures and stuff, by the way, have been insane.
Yeah, and it was like a record that they broke or something. Twice having this performance, it was amazing. Looking like and MetLife posted like a thing for Blackpink or something, right?
They so as a fan who tweeted like, oh, the only reason Twice got this record is because they did 2 nights or whatever, or they sold it out and Blackpink didn't sell it out because I don't know, so some cope bullshit, and they were just mad and like being a usual Blink on the internet, and MetLife liked it, but they said it was an accident. I can see that it, you know, you get a huge volume of tweets coming up and you just accidentally like one of them. I understand. I highly doubt that it's some angry Bling who works for MetLife.
Like, yeah, fuck Twice.
So angry. Yeah. I mean, it's possible, but I doubt it. Either way, it's just funny seeing the backlash that happened as a result, and then actually coming out and being like, "Yeah, sorry, guys, we didn't mean it."
Plus, that's such a bullshit thing. Like Twice, if they sold out both nights, that's because
people want to see Twice.
People want to see Twice. Yeah, it's not like that's not a bad thing. That's not like the gross that you think it is. Oh, it sold 2 nights out at like one of the biggest stadiums in the entirety of the United States. Like, that's incredible. Like, there's a lot of artists who could not do that.
And like, I hate to break it, but like the a lot of those people who went and saw Twice are the same people who saw
Yeah,
Blackpink.
I saw
Like,
Twice and Blackpink in Los Angeles. Like
yeah,
I saw, it's like I saw both because I like
yeah,
both. It's amazing you can actually like Blackpink and like another group. I know it's
yeah.
really difficult to
It's
consider
crazy.
as a
I know.
concept, but it can happen.
Oh, actually, that brings me on to another thing, and just fans being awful. So the BTS book came out, right?
There's a
The
book.
bit, yeah. So BTS, with the support of some ghostwriter of it, who probably wrote the majority of it and just took a few quotes here and there, released a book, uh, like a tell-all story or whatever.
Yeah.
Just some shitty cash grab. But in it, there was a sentence. It was a fairly innocuous, but like intentionally drama creating sentence that RM supposedly said, which was that Sunbays and Hubays alike, so seniors and juniors alike, looked down on us when we were in our early years. And I can completely believe that. Like, undoubtedly, coming from a small company, coming with a concept as what they were like as strong as they had, undoubtedly others would have looked down on them, because in any industry hierarchy, like, big companies are going to look down on small companies. Like, that always happens. As a result, the Little Sevens decided to run rampant with it. So they were just
Hmm.
saying, he's talking about Winner, he's talking about Icon, he's talking about whoever, whichever group, whichever member they
Like
fancied.
G Dragon came in my room
Yeah,
and spit on me or something.
everyone and anyone they wanted, and they were just going to town on them for
Yeah,
something that
it's like
they may not have even done. And this kind of shit that kind of pisses me off, because like BTS need to have they've said in the past that they know what the fans are like, and they just say, well, don't get on their bad side then. And they don't they I think they need to take more responsibility, um than just letting them do that.
Yeah, when you know there's gonna be like an unhinged reaction to a certain thing you say or
And just
whatever,
just
sometimes
think,
it's better
oh
to just like not say.
yeah, just think, oh, I wonder what the reaction is going to be. I don't know. I don't want to put the bin on BTS, and obviously the blame is on the fans who are going nuts. But it's quite funny going on Twitter and just seeing something like, no, that's it. I've given my chance to other groups. I'm only BTS from now on. I won't support anyone who looked down on them or stood in their way. Blah blah blah. I'm just like, fucking hell,
They
like,
don't even
relax.
know who they were talking about.
Yeah, just insane behavior. I mean, these people are going to look back on it
I
years
know.
from now and be
It's
very
it's girls'
embarrassed.
generation. It's just Taeyeon
Yeah,
walking in the room and going staring.
I can buy it. I believe that. I don't know who the most like hilarious idol who would look down on you would be,
Who's
but
like a group that debuted before them that would be like um interesting like one because I guess now the BTS is second gen though, right?
no,
Third.
that
They're just so early in the third
they,
gen that
they
I.
debuted in 2013. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, it's so early in the third gen that I like. It's on like the border of it.
yeah. Well, I love the idea of them like 3 years into their career, and then like a freshly debuted Chu just talking shit.
Chu just stare at BTS down.
She's like, look at these fucking fools. She smokes like.
It's interesting. It's one of those things like, why say it? I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's obviously just
Why say it
the
now? Now you're
yeah.
like the most respected like
I mean, the
artist
narrative
in
of
the
the whole
genre.
book is like, oh, we came from nothing. Look at our rags to riches success story, or whatever. Because that shit
The
sells.
thing when a book's written by someone though, like a ghostwriter, sometimes like it's always like someone could have just like kind of off the cuff barely mentioned it, and then the writer's like
Yeah, they just run with it.
3 chapters all about this like off the cuff comment, or something. Like
Yeah.
it's always something like that where it's like maybe they barely glossed over it.
Um, it is called Beyond the Story: The 10-Year Record of BTS, and it's written by Kang Myung-sok and BTS, translated to English by Anton Her in collaboration with
It's
Claire
all just
Richards and
mistranslated.
Lin Jung. Certainly a possibility.
One word wrong and you've screwed up the whole story, like it's because they maybe they were just like, oh yeah, we were actually respected rather well early in our career, and then it just changed as that single word to disrespected, and now you have
Yeah.
a scandal.
Of
No,
course,
I mean,
it's.
I'm sure they really said that or something, but it's just like,
I mean, like I said, I'm sure it's true. I'm sure people
Yeah.
did look down on them, but I don't think it's that deep. Um, it's obviously this book immediately was number one on the Amazon bestseller list within hours.
This goes in the same category of like the Bang Chan thing from the live for me. Where it's just like,
Right. Similar vibe, yeah.
I
But
know you're a good person and stuff. Just like
just think about it. Yeah.
When you say
You've
this,
got a responsibility.
There's gonna be a lot of reaction to it.
Yeah.
Like I don't think BTS said that and they're like, I can't wait till armies just destroy everyone
They're
on
like,
the internet.
oh,
Like,
I'm really looking forward to get that one member of Winner.
Yeah, they're just like, they subtly say in the book, it was someone from YG. Like,
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Jenny and V lying in bed together reading the book, like she's like, "What? What did you say?" Like, no, I know they wanted me.
Oliver, you've just said a sentence that is going to get so many threat messages to me on Instagram.
That's a risk I'm willing to take.
You talk about Jenny and V. That's like that thing is ridiculous. We're not even going to cover that.
Yeah.
Every time I see the dating things, I'm always just like, well, I don't give a shit.
Although, did you see the most hilarious dating rumor that emerged the other day? It was Lim Young-woong, you know, the million-selling ballader who just like whenever he releases anything dominates all the charts. And Soyu from Sister. And I was like, if Lim Young-woong has pulled Soyu from Sister, that is an unreal play by this guy. Like this softly, like, you know,
well, he is
skinny
like the
guy
songbird
with
of
his lovely
generation.
voice. Yeah. But Soyu is like an absolute baddie. So like, you know.
It was denied by both of them or something.
Yeah. They just both happened to be filming something in the same place.
Yeah, of course.
On the same day.
Do you mean they were in the same location at the same time? They must be dating.
Yeah, they both went to Jeju in the summer. What? Like, but it was very funny.
Unless Taeyeon and Baekhyun are dating again, I don't even give a shit about any of
geez.
these dating rumors. All right.
That's fair.
No one has anything on the Brangelina of K-pop. Okay.
No. If that started happening, I wonder if Taeyeon would fall out of your top 5 like Joy did.
No, because I also want to date Baekhyun and Taeyeon, so it's like
Very fair.
I'll gladly be the thruple. Okay, so what? I guess we've kind of concluded all the news, so I don't even know what to talk about now. So,
well, we can do our review of the songs.
Review of the songs? Okay.
Of June.
Gotcha. Let me, let's just cut right here. Well, then, we are going to do our June roundup.
Yeah. There were quite a few.
Should I just say who won
releases.
June? Should I just right away get it out of the way?
Go for it.
Promise 9.
Promise 9 won June.
In my opinion, Promise 9 is June.
I think for idol music, I'm inclined to agree. I think that was probably the strongest album.
That dropped while I was in Seoul, but I didn't hear it till I got home. But I remember you basically said while I was there, like, "Oh, the new Promise 9 album slaps."
Yeah, I remember because I'd listened to it like on the subway when I was on my way to meet you somewhere. Yeah. And I remember coming in, I was like, that Promise 9 album is pretty fucking good, man. Like, it's pretty good. I don't know. Yeah.
I waited till I got back and could like actually just like listen to the whole album.
So we had a whole bunch of pretty big releases. Obviously, so we had Stray Kids. We had Taeyong for NCT Solo. We had ATEEZ. We had Promise. We had Shiny.
Stray Kids was S Class, right? The thing with the hand, right?
Like crazy stuff. Yeah. We had some debuts. We had some like returning artists and whatnot. It was all pretty big.
We had your favorite. We had ATEEZ.
We did, yeah. when did I listened
Oliver's
to
A
that.
Tiny era was very short lived. It was like Gorilla to the comeback after that, and then he's
Gorilla
cut
and
them off again.
Halazia. Yeah.
So-
So I listened to 80s when I was on my way to I was like actually this area now, that the bridge that stretches from the subway station to where Taeyeon's concert was.
yes. Okay. Yeah.
So
That
so like that
Olympic
you
area there.
yeah, you
Yeah.
have that like that boulevard with like the shops and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like crazy hot. So I was walking along there, and I stopped to get some water, and I was just walking along there to go to see Mamamoo. And I was listening to it then. It's probably the worst timing to listen to that album when I'm like walking through very hot area and it's
Yeah.
going nuts like in my ears. I wasn't a crazy fan of Bouncy, sadly, but there was a track on the album that I liked. Maybe there is.
See, you just had a bad experience while you were listening to it. I feel like it's actually a pretty good song from them. Like, I like the little, like, make it bouncy, dun 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 dun, like, and the little parrot coming, make it bouncy. Like, I thought it was a pretty catchy, like, line. The verse parts of it are, with a lot of the auto tune in some sections, are not my favorite and stuff, but overall, I feel like the song was a pretty, like, upbeat, like, fun song to listen to.
Was it as good as Gorilla though?
No, but that doesn't have to be.
Well, then it's not worth my time.
That's like Big Bang's whole career being like, did you release Bang 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 again? Then I don't want to listen.
The one I liked a lot was This World. I really liked This World. Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta let a casual Ho anthem happen, okay? Like, you just have to let it occur. It's fun. It's good fun. Just like, dun, 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 and like, I mean, it's not like it's a masterpiece of their catalog or something. But overall, I feel like it still fits in their catalog pretty good.
Sure, I'll take it. From Stray Kids again, I wasn't crazy about S Class.
I like
like.
But just because I thought that was like the video, like the da-da-da-da-da-da-da thing. Was
I mean the choreo and the performance and stuff is really cool. But
Yeah.
I a lot of the time now when I'm listening to Stray Kids, I'm like, guys, like you don't have to just keep doing this like cookie cutter EDM stuff.
Well, so
like,
what they did with like Tiger JK, right? Or
Yeah.
I thought that was the better. I thought that was the best one.
Top Line, yeah. Top
I
Line.
thought that was the best song or whatever.
Yeah, it was okay. I was kind of
maybe just because I like kind of their rap unit or whatever, the Three Racha or whatever.
Yeah, I think they're often the highlights of their style. I think my favorite was Hall of Fame. And I also like the mixtape track they had at the end, but I don't think that
There was no Muddy Waters on this album.
No. Yeah. And then
I'd like to imagine someone doesn't know that song. They're like, why the hell would Muddy Waters be on?
there's a couple other like releases this summer that I didn't really mess with the title track that much, but then I found a lot more to enjoy from elsewhere. So like Taeyong, for example, I wasn't crazy about his title track, but I liked Guando, For Fun Not Found, and Back to the Past from that album. It's like I just maybe it's like the public facing songs that are getting chosen are just not less my vibe at the moment, just good with what's like trending or whatever. But there's still good stuff you can find on the albums. An exception to that is TNX, the new Six, which is Psy's boy group, P Nation's boy group. Their song "Kick It For Now," banger. It's like New Jack Swing. When that kind of beat kicks in, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll kick it for now with you boys. Let's go. Like,
I'm so brain broken. When you said banger, I just instantly heard G Dragon going banger, banger, banger. Just my brain, once you said that word, was like, I'm done. Big bang, 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 is going through my mind.
Yeah, there was like for boys at least there are a couple releases like that this month, like P1 Harmony had again a couple decent tracks, VAV a couple good tracks. I really liked Ren from New East, his solo album Rendezvous, which
I know I heard the P1 Harmony one. Oh my god, K or someone's gonna be so mad at me for not remembering.
It's like Jump.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. I remember I watched like back to back like some P Harmony stuff.
Yeah, I didn't like Jump. I like Love Me For Me and I Am You, but like I said,
Oliver's just the anti of boy groups.
I don't like title tracks a lot of the time. I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, Ren's album I thought was really good. Ren's album, like each song was really different. Like each one of them was a very different genre, but it felt like he encapsulated four different or multiple different aspects, five different aspects of a boy group as a soloist, and then presented them like and executed it really well. So I think yeah, his album was probably a standout of boy releases in the
Hmm.
month. Kang Daniels was okay. Again, you're stuck in that situation where it's like, well,
I thought the video
we,
was really cool though.
yeah, and we
The
know
like
what Kang
Mad
Daniels
Max
can do as a
video
pop
with
group.
him with the, like the revolver spinning around and stuff was kind of
Yeah,
pretty lit video, and he's like getting shit blown up behind him in a razor and stuff. I was like, all right, this
right.
is like there's a
It's
huge budget on
yeah,
that video.
he puts money in it, yeah,
And I was
but it
surprised
just
because it
the
wasn't like
songs
one
weren't
of
quite as
his
good.
songs compared to previous comebacks, where I would have thought you'd throw a bunch of money into this comeback or something.
Hmm.
Comparatively, I mean, to other comebacks he's had, like stylistically, song wise, I would say are more like mainstream catchy compared to this one. I
Yeah,
guess you'd say, or
he has
something.
his music has a bit of an edge to it. I think
Yeah,
generally, yeah,
it was cool though. I still enjoyed like maybe because the video was so cool, I enjoyed aspects of the song I wouldn't on its own or
right,
something. Sometimes that can
yeah,
happen, you know. Like there's
yeah,
been times when I've watched like a major music video release, and then you listen to the song on its own, and it's like, oh well, this video part really goes with the song. That's why I enjoyed
yeah.
that so
I,
much, or something like.
like K-pop is very much like an audio-visual experience, right? Like a lot
Yeah,
of the time, it adds or detracts
it's
if
like,
it's
oh
not
my
like
girl. Sometimes Arin's not even singing, but then I'm like, why am I enjoying this so much?
yeah. Another highlight actually was Kim Jae-hwan, who was in he was in 101.
Hmm.
His album Jam, which stood for a journey above music.
Oh, it's
Uh,
not.
I
It's
re-
not Cheers.
I I really liked some of the songs that he did a song with Bobby from Icon on there called Lucky, which is a lot of fun. My Ocean, Champagne and Sleep also very much recommend. I guess the big one to talk about is Shiny.
Hold on, you're glossing over the most important thing if we're going to talk about SM Entertainment.
The
On
fuck.
June 6th, the
Oh
lyric
my god, I
video
can't
of
believe
Hold On
you.
Tight was
We're even talking
released.
about boys, and you're just going for
And
it. Like,
that means aespa already won. Because anything Hold On Tight being released again is just an automatic
who doing
dub.
in a fight though? Esper or Promised Time?
Mm.
2 or 1 each time, and Promised Time are smokers.
Wait, what? Is that like
Yeah, there's been two. Both Jisun and Chaeyoung have been exposed for having like e-cigs in their or vapes in the back of their
I just like the
truck.
idea. Just sitting at the airport, just like,
Man,
like smoking a.
like, come on, girls, get on the floor. Promise, get set ready. Go, and they just start beating the shit out of them.
I don't know. I'd have to give aespa that one just because I feel like Karna could like win in a fight.
Karina's probably like a black belt in like several
Yeah,
martial arts by the looks of her, yeah. And Giselle, you know, fights dirty,
yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah, we'll go to goals in a second. Let's talk about
I know. Shiny
Shiny.
had hard,
Hard.
hard.
Yeah. Which I wasn't crazy about it, and I remember when I was listening to the album,
No, the B side was better. What was that one called? They did live
Identity.
performances and stuff for it as well. Was it Identity?
Well, that's the one I really liked anyway.
Well, okay. What's the one they did performance? I'll find it. You keep talking.
Okay, so I was like listening to, and the first it was Hard and Juice with the big two.
Okay,
Or
yeah,
Juice, I think it was.
Juice was
Yeah.
better, I think, in my
So
opinion.
I remember listening, and the first like 4 tracks, I was kind of like, oh, guys, like, or first 3 tracks, I was like, guys, this isn't hitting for me. Like, and obviously, like, it's Shiny, and I really like listening to their voices and stuff, but just the music wasn't landing. And then we got to Satellite, and I was like, okay, this is picking up. And then Identity came in, and I'm like, okay, here we go. Then I like the next song, The Feeling. I also liked Like It and Sweet Misery, which is a great name. So it's like the latter half of the album definitely did a lot more for me than the
Yeah,
first
all I
half, which is
mainly really remember well from Hard is they have that like walking towards you choreo thing,
Yeah.
you know, and everyone's doing like the challenge for that.
Yeah. I mean,
I
the
don't know if
choreo
you've seen the
was
video
cool.
like Taeyeon doing that challenge with them, but it's
Yeah,
hilarious to
with
see
G,
just
yeah.
like tiny Taeyeon trying to do like that tough walk along.
She's very tough.
Like,
Yeah.
and it just like Taeyeon like tower, over like. Yeah, I don't know how tall any of the members of Shiny are, but Taeyeon's so tiny that they look massive, like standing next to her.
Because she's often like next to Key, and that always ends up looking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Um.
So overall, the album you enjoyed then, just not hard.
Yeah, just the latter half. Yeah, the latter half of the album.
There's so many innuendos you can make, and I just to control myself from not making them.
I just didn't like it hard.
God damn! I didn't mean to actually make one.
I'll give a shout out to Wei or Wei I should say, because I know that Kay is a big fan of them. Their song Overdrive, I think you checked it out on the stream.
I did, yeah.
It was fun.
And then I always call them Way instead of Wei, and everyone gets mad. Like, how dare you? Don't remember how to pronounce this.
But I need to give a shout out to some hags. Got to give the hag shout out to UKISS, back for their 15th anniversary. Got the gang together, dusted off the old dancing bones, and dropped an album called Playlist, mini album. Just unbridled fun, just like them, just having a good time.
I always love the names. So, like, I know UKISS, but like, I always love, like, what do you think when they're having like the naming part of their meeting or whatever? UKISS.
Yeah. Okay.
Spelled with a U dash.
Yeah.
Kiss.
Yeah. Party Tonight, Wonderful Escape, Where You Are, Memories. My 4 highlights from that album.
I did not hear the new UKISS, so I guess I'll have to.
It's just like that old-fashioned.
It's nostalgia,
like music that I really like. Yeah, it's not like a retro sound. It's just fun, just good fun. They're not taking it too serious. They're not trying to be all hard and cool. They're just like, we're having a good time together again.
They don't have that typical like 4th gen. I'm gonna have like my really upbeat, hard-hitting moment right now.
Yeah. There's no pretense to it. Just good vibes, and I love that.
N-hyphen.
Oh yes, N-hyphen. Yes.
They have their vampire concepts.
Yeah.
Which would normally be my favorite thing that's ever occurred, because we all know my NCT favorite era was very dramatic. I went into my like full I'm in love with Edward era. But I liked it. It's just I've been waiting so long for N-hyphen to hit me the same way they did in that kind of like Tame Dash and Drunk Dazed era, like.
Yeah.
And I just hope that wasn't like the peak and they never hit it again or something, for me at least personally.
Yeah, it's kind of going or feeling that way, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the times, like I think I've only like actively disliked like the Past the Mic song. I wasn't a big fan of. I don't
dislike their comebacks. I think it's just not.
But now I'm just like,
it's
like every time I'm like, I know what you guys can do, and I'm wanting that. Yeah.
And the thing is, like, because those were so good, I was almost like, man, if they go in this direction more, this could be my favorite boy group in K-pop. Like, this is gonna be like the group. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And
you have a favorite member and everything.
Now I'm just sitting there in limbo, like, happen again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's now I'm just back to being an EXO stan again, It's like
yeah, everything comes back. But actually, I think the boys, as in like boy groups, did generally like have been outperforming girls so far this year.
Have they? General. Because Hold On Tight and From Miss 9 happened, so I'm back in my girl group.
Sure.
Crazy.
But like, I was looking at this the other day. I was like, given how I think because of how hard I feel like the girls dominated last year. This year has been a bit of a change of pace.
You weren't all in on the Eve, the Saiken Bluebeard from
it's fun, but I'm not crazy.
I've been booming everywhere.
I had one of my students was like doing the doing the choreo.
The choreo for that is a masterpiece.
I looked at her and gave the like boom 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 like and she was like, my eyes.
Your boss just walks by as you're like fucking twerking through the.
Oh, they've seen all kinds of madness.
I thought
yeah,
that
like,
that
I did way
song
more boy group
choreo live
Yeah.
is one of the best performances like in K-pop right now.
Yeah.
You
To be
do
honest,
not
I
agree? Do you
like
not
that
think
song.
that like live performance of that song slaps?
I mean,
in
like
my
the
opinion?
Seraphim live in general, like they kill it. Like whenever they
This
do
is
anything,
one of those
they
ones
kill
though
it.
that I feel like it's so eye-catching.
The part where they do the I'm a mess,
Yeah,
like,
and then
part,
that beginning, like, kind of
that's
jump
really cool,
choreo thing they have, like, side to side. They're almost doing, like, a side choreography or something.
Yeah,
Like, it's really...
it's really dope. But like,
Yeah.
the song itself on its own, outside of that, is like this is a fun house song,
just accept
but
it.
nothing crazy. Okay.
That's Le Seraphim's kind of whole catalog for me, though. Like, the live performances are, like, oh my god,
they really
slap
do
so
wrap
good,
it up,
and then
yeah.
some of their songs on their own I don't listen to all as often or whatever.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Because Ives' catalog was obviously my favorite, but then I thought
Right.
the Seraphim's live performances compared to all the other groups was like, oh, you're killing it. These intros are incredible.
Their performances are
and like,
excellent.
they definitely dominate the live scene.
That's fair. I think that it's their Manda and NMix. I have to say, NMix are fantastic live as well.
That also occurred.
Yeah,
But I'll let you continue with what you.
So, like some of the songs I picked out from for girls from this month or from June are like pretty from Promise. Like the Promises album dominated it basically. I picked out like Attitude, the title Me Now, In the Mirror, Don't Care, Prom Night, What I Want, My Night.
In the Mirror was my favorite that I had marked down.
Yeah, it was a really, really good album cover to cover. There wasn't really any weak spots to it. Queen by Weena, a nice Nugu release that was really solid. I like Leisha came back with, and when Leisha were coming back, I was like, oh god, what are they going to do? Because Leisha are like one of the sexy, like OG concept styles, like, and I mean like they like remind you, they're like more suggestive than even, or like more skimpily clad than like AOA at their peak, or like
or like Stellar or anything like that.
Okay. Even more than that. So I was like, oh god. But I think I showed you the video, right? It was like a traditional, they were wearing like traditional hanbok and they were in water.
Oh, okay, yeah, I did see that. Yeah. I do know what you're talking about.
It's called like Bokun got like something blooming flower, I guess. I thought that was actually really cool. It was really cool musically. Like I was not expecting what they delivered, which was neat. La Pillas had a song called Marionette, and I feel like if you have a song, speaking of Stella, who had a great song called Marionette, a song called Marionette will just always slap, apparently, because that absolutely slapped. We talked about Wicked Love from Yena as well before, but that was kind of like, there wasn't much else that was really standing out to me.
No, I mean, Wicked Love was a good song. I like Yena's Dark Side, personally.
Yeah.
I mean, I do enjoy Smiley and stuff like that, but Yena's Dark Side is definitely my favorite. And that video was just too much. Yena didn't need to be thrown down in whatever the hell that red outfit was. I didn't need that in my life, so I watched that video one time and installed a blocker to never see it ever again.
As effective as your Aaron blocker.
Yeah, as effective as the Aaron blocker is, yes.
Yeah.
Wicked Love was awesome, though.
Yeah. But yes, well, in July, I think, we'll talk about it when we come to it. We'll see. Oh, I guess I'll give another Nugu shout out to Q6. There's a song called CC. That was pretty cool.
That one is not one I know about or have seen. You just like said things that did not compute to my brain at all. Q6 sounds like coordinates I'd be getting in like a Rust server or something. While I'm like...
So I think I'll mention what I think my two favorite albums that I can think of off the top of my head are from this month, from June. So one of them is Kim Adam, which I know Logan made you listen to the whole thing.
That's the album that absolutely
Soul Wave.
slapped. Yeah, Soul Wave is a masterpiece. Oh,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Firmus 9 might be in danger, actually. That
So Kim Adam, for those who don't know, she's a soloist, but she's also in a few groups. She makes city pop music, and anyone who's listened to this long enough will know that we're big fans of city pop.
Yeah.
And this one, especially when city pop gets heavy on the sax.
The
and oh boy, is this heavy on the sax.
The it's Soulwave goes into Summer Love, right? There's like the intro.
Yeah, Soulwave is the album name, and Summer Love is the title.
But it starts like that. There's like an intro song called Soulwave.
Yeah.
And then that hits, the way that hits into Summer Love will sell you like immediately on the album, because it's like the saxophone. Like,
I remember, I've been a fan of her for a while, but like as soon as just so emotional.
Soulwave's
album of the year, give her the Grammy. As soon as that comes in, I'm like, oh, okay, she's done it. It's definitely, I think, her best album. So. Good job, Kim Arnhem.
Yeah, and I love Logan did say you introduced him to it, but he definitely just like threw the whole album and he's like, you have to listen to this right now.
The other one that I was a big fan of was Park Soeun's EP, whose the name of which I have forgotten. So give me a sec while I find it. The title track was 2017. I think I showed it to you. Or I showed you maybe that song and one other. I don't remember. It's called Timeline. The EP was called Timeline. I was a big fan of that. It's like indie rock, basically.
Okay, yes. See, you could say song titles and I won't always.
Yeah.
But if you say the genre, then it's like, oh, okay, I know.
It's hard for me to remember sometimes as well. Yeah. But yeah, it was really cool, like kind of like beach surf rock, not surf rock, but like beach rock.
Yeah, then you showed me that
kind of vibe.
You thought it was similar to.
Yeah, like Dive. Maybe not similar, it just reminded me of similar vibe. Yeah, God, there's albums coming up for next month that I'm very excited to talk about. Yes, I really like Summer Salt and Time Flies. Time Flies was a great track from that. And of course, there's a certain. Oh no, it doesn't fit. We should have talked about this for May. Unlucky. A certain soloist you may be familiar with who released a song.
Who? Just say it. Just bring it up, man.
I don't know. I'll be talking too much air. You get it? You get what I'm doing?
Yes,
okay. Oh, there's a soloist called Soma. She released an album called Moth. The title "Moth to a Flame" and "Gone" also really good. Like,
see, there's certain titles you can have, and it can't be bad. And "Moth to a Flame" is like, if you're gonna call something "Moth to a Flame," it's gonna have to be good. Like, it's unacceptable to not be. You know what I mean? It's like there's certain things you can't name it that, and make anything bad.
Yeah, I'll give a couple of hip hop releases because we don't really touch into the hip hop world all that much. But I feel like we need to give some credit where credit is due. So Dynamic Duo, who of course are like legends in the scene, have been around forever. They released a little. It's called Two Kids on the Block Part 1. So I imagine it's going to be the first half of an album. But all of that was fantastic, like old school hip hop. But also, I think my favorite hip hop release of the month was Room Service, which was a duo effort by QM and Freddie Casso. QM is, I think, one of the best like Korean hip hop artists active at the moment, and he doesn't get the props that he deserves. I think
you've shown me QM.
I have to drop some at some point.
And Freddie Casso, like I feel like these are definitely names like if I was introduced to their music that I would remember. Like
Freddie Casso, I didn't know before, so. Until this album, but QM I've been a fan of basically starting from earlier this year because he dropped a fantastic album with a Crucial Star called Gold. But he hits like a lot of Korean hip hop at the moment is going down into that kind of mumble rappy type stuff with like these really like just garage band like basic beats and then just like really shitty generic lyrics and like it's just not enjoyable. And so when you get an artist that does something more old school, which is the kind of vibe that I really like, I'm really here for it. But he just nails that like great flow, great cadence, and like really creative beats. Like it's everything I like in hip hop. So yeah,
I'll check it out. Drop them in on Friday so I can have an opinion on these.
I shall endeavor to. Um, Other than that, I think that's mostly. I could talk about ballads and acoustic and trot, uh, and like all kinds of things, but like we might end up being here forever.
You could, and I would
Um,
have no idea probably about most of the releases. I mean,
yeah,
a good ballad is always. I'm a sucker. I agree with that like cultural part of Korea that just loves absorbing themselves into ballad music. Like a good
yeah.
ballad always hits, especially when we like who's the singer that you would always give me doing like the Immortal Songs performances?
Like Song Sung Young.
Oh my god, yeah, Song Sung Young. Oh my god.
Yeah.
If Song Sung Young singing a ballad, I don't care what the hell it is, I'm there and just like absorbed into it immediately. That's not because I'm just like in love with Song Sung Young. It's because the ballads are also really good.
Okay, I think if there's one, my favorite song of June overall, and this made it into uh my top like songs of the quarter. So I've done top 20 lists for each quarter. Is Flesh and Bone by Nokdu from his album Old Justice, which in general was a very good album with a lot of mixed vibe. Like he would go from doing like a
It's not
synth
too
pop
spelled
banger,
like N O C
N O
T U.
NOKDU.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So
I think
completely
I
opposite
think I
house.
did drop this one on stream.
Okay. That name
But
sounds familiar to me.
he'll go from doing like a synth pop banger to like a mournful acoustic song, and then back to another
Oh, so
banger
this is
like
like your
straight after
favorite
that.
person in the world right now.
Well, he's not full. No, he's not full 80. He's
No,
more
but those
like
are like two things that you absolutely
I do,
love.
yeah.
Like...
That's why it's up there, yeah. But he does like synth influenced rock music as well. So it's more, yeah. It's just cool. It's a really cool album. Would very much recommend. But that song
You're
was
forgetting the
very
best ballad
like.
that happened of the whole year.
Am I?
Hey baby, welcome to my world.
Is that a ballad though?
I
Is that
think
really a ballad?
I'm gonna allow it. I think it falls in the
You gonna allow
confinements
it?
of tempo and style of a
Okay,
ballad. I would say it's like a dark ballad.
controversial.
You know, it's like it's definitely not an uplifting one.
No. Yeah. All right. I'll take it.
Sorry, continue. What was
No,
the
that's it.
That was it. That was it of
I've-
your ballad.
Yeah. I've concluded.
I guess to conclude, I feel like our end of year is going to be interesting because the unbearable I've fanboy I am wants to just be like I am is the number one song of the year. I won't hear anything else.
Uh huh.
But for some reason, I feel like I'm going to end up having Espa at number one on the end of my year.
With
And
Hold On Tight.
I'm just waiting for it to be dethroned by anything, and it's not happening. Like I don't.
Wow. Wow.
Not just hold on tight. I mean, I did. It's it's interesting. I might have a couple Espa things in my top 10 at the end of the year, but it's
They're dropping an English or a US focus released in August. So
I'll
stay
see.
tuned.
I feel like U.S. focused releases have never been my favorites.
but
from
but I mean
Yeah.
Hold On Tight was an English.
I know,
release, so maybe-
That's like
maybe-
the one time where it's been effective on
Yeah.
on me, and I've still has time.
They do. They'll
They still
almost
have
certainly
time.
have another release.
They
Or maybe
do have
their
a Pepsi
maybe
song
their
coming
Pepsi
out.
song tomorrow will
The
do
Pepsi
the
song
trick.
will end up being my song of the year.
Yeah. You'll be the next time we see you, you'll just be surrounded by Pepsi cans.
Yeah, I become a Pepsi stan.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen because the Coke flavor is far superior to Pepsi.
I see you like New Jeans more. Interesting.
Yeah, but I'm a New
Tell you
Jeans
what,
Coke.
First of all, I really like Zero by New Jeans in general, but there was a remix to it. Some guy did a remix of it, and that slaps as well.
Is it like a EDM remix or is it like a
It just no, it's like a genuine kind of like he just chopped and changed and rearranged it a bit. Like he added some material, but like it's not like a genre remix.
made the song like the same genre but remixed?
It still keeps elements of the DMB
Yeah.
stuff to it, but adds some elements. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if Espa keeps their top spot for now. Who would you say so far before we get to end of the year is like sitting there?
For me,
Yeah.
like for idol music or for all music? Because all
Let's
music.
go idol, I guess, because for all music, I feel like you might change.
Oh yeah, I don't think anything is set in stone. I think right now, my favorite idol group release of the year is probably Autopilot by Purple Kids.
Mm, interesting. I
And
forgot. Oh yeah, Purple Kids had some bangers. Yeah, that's right.
and then if I had and then like for all, I think probably Shelter of Dreams by Lee Sung Yoon. But we'll see. We'll see.
I don't know. I'm just waiting to see what knocks off "Baby, You and Me."
Yeah, what other iconic OST sound can
Yeah.
a group
Something
do with
else
the
has to
synthwave?
grasp that like perfect meld of an iconic melody like that, and then make
Yeah.
it like, yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
I can do it. I've done it already before. So, all right, that has been it for the June roundup. I am Honan.
I'm Oliver.
Goodbye. I never do them right because I throw them like straight at you.
This was a cross hand. That's a whole thing going on.
Bye bye.